Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Gleeman. If you are returning, welcome back. This is a part 2 to a thoughts and discussions on Lord Intellectual's video of evil and stupidity. If I sound a little bit hesitant or nervous, I will admit that I somewhat am. Uh, this part 2 will be the final part of my initial response to this video. The reason being is I am stopping earlier in the video than I previously anticipated. And when you get to the end, I hope that you understand why that is. But before getting into the video proper, I did want to make a formal apology about some of my comments in the first part, or the first part of my response. I was a bit overzealous when stating my opinion on the how should I say it? The lead up to what we are seeing now in the decay of the West. It comes from my Christian background. I will fully admit that. And I had not properly, properly brought forth the evidence and logic to bolster that opinion before stating it. So that was a bit ill-advised of me, and I do apologize, Lord Intellectual, if you ever watch these. Also, I will try to refrain from being, should I say, nitpicky. I realized that I somewhat devolved into a deconstructionalist in that first video by stopping with like every single word. So I will try to refrain from doing that in this video. In fact, that since I've written most of my arguments out, I have decreased the number of times that I will be stopping. But with all that said, let's hop into the video where we left off.
Not because people become cruel, but because they stop asking whether they should act at all, and that leaves us with a question that should make anyone uneasy. What if the greatest threat to humanity has never been evil intentions, but obedient minds?
So, right where we left off here, the greatest threat to humanity is not evil intentions, but obedient minds. That is quite the statement to make as far as the initial video Mr. Noli has put forth, especially since we might be veering into the realm of conflation between obedience and stupidity. We haven't really set forth our terms yet as far as what we believe stupidity to be and what even we believe evil to be. And I say we, I would say that Mr. Noli and Lord Intellectual have not stated their views on these terms as of yet. So, with that, let's move on.
Inside prison, Bonhoeffer began to understand something that changed the way he saw the world. Stupidity, he realized, has nothing to do with intelligence. Some of the smartest people he knew had become its perfect carriers. Stupidity was a loss of independence of thought, a condition where a person no longer thinks for themselves, but only repeats what they hear, what they are told, what feels safe to say. These people were not confused, they were confident. They spoke in slogans. They argued with certainty, not because they understood the truth, but because the truth had already been decided for them by the group they belonged to.
And so this is also
So before we get into Lord Intellectual's response, I do have to pause and say that we now have a firmer grasp on Mr. Nolly's definition of stupidity. It's a little bit different than mine. So, if you will recall, what I defined as stupidity was essentially thoughtless action. An action or a decision being made that was without any foresight or thought of how it might affect oneself or others around them. And what Mr. Nolly has stated is, or what he is relaying, at least as far as definitions go, is a loss of independence of thought. While this might fit a quality of stupidity, I would posit that there are plenty of stupid decisions that can be made independently. So I feel like there's more distinction that needs to be made as far as this definition goes.
a really good point, because yes, he's talking about lacking that critical thinking, but it is also important to note you yourself are never immune from propaganda, and you are never immune from thinking like this as well. This is why it is so important to break outside of your own echo chambers and your own algorithms, and if you do get seriously challenged on your ideas, to take that as good faith, even if the opponent means it in bad faith. Try to exert some level of introspection so that you can see if you have been influenced by an outside force to your own detriment as well. We need to exert that critical thinking. And the moment you think, oh, I'm smart and thus I don't need to do it, you have just fallen for that trap.
So, I think that was excellently put by Lord Intellectual, but I'm still concerned with our framing. We are still using the term of stupidity here, when really what we have veered into is either being brainwashed or succumbing to groupthink, which is certainly easier for people who don't already consider how their actions will affect themselves or others, which is what I defined as stupid. But as Mr. Nolly and Lord Intellectual have already addressed, smart people can fall into this category as well. I don't think smart people can fall into the category of being stupid people when they succumb to a form of brainwashing, propaganda, or groupthink. That is its own category. Let me go ahead and continue. I believe. Okay, I think. Never mind. Mr. Nolly has already put something else forward, which is the statement made by Mr. Nolly was an obedient mind. Obedience itself is not what is being conveyed, because obedience can be a good thing. It is the voluntary relinquishing of an authority, or of your own authority, to an outside authority. But that could be based on trust and valuable argumentation as far as where that trust is put. It could be evidential or evidence-based and experience-based, where multiple times that authority has shown to be of good judgment. Obedience to that authority is not a bad thing. So what Mr. Nolly and Lord Intellectual by proxy have posited is a blind obedience is a bad thing. And then again, we're several steps removed from stupidity, as I would place the term, which is why we should always come to these sort of conversations with our terms firmly in place for each other, so that proper communication is conveyed. Thus far, we need to separate stupidity from obedience, and obedience from blind obedience.
And that is what made them more dangerous than openly evil people. Evil can be confronted, stupidity cannot, because it does not see itself as wrong.
So, evil can be confronted, stupidity can not, because it doesn't see itself as wrong. I have a question. Evil sees itself as wrong, and it's stated as if this is a certain fact. Again, we haven't defined evil yet. And when I say we, I mean Mr. Nolly and Lord Intellectual. In the US, we are incredibly divided right now between two sides that see each other, or see the other, as evil. Are we to conclude from this statement that both sides are good, or both sides are stupid? Neither can be good, or neither can be evil by this framing. Because if we go back to the original statement, evil can be confronted because it doesn't see itself, or because it sees itself as wrong. If evil can be confronted and stupidity cannot, because it doesn't see itself as wrong, then that would follow that evil does see itself as wrong. So, yeah, it's we're muddying the waters now, as far as clarity goes, and this would be a great place for some clarity.
Bonhoeffer concluded that evil can be resisted with force, but stupidity cannot. Force only strengthens it. Arguments slide off it. Facts bounce away. Because stupidity is not a lack of information. It is a mental condition produced by social pressure and propaganda. Under the influence of power, people do not become stupid because their brains stop working, but because their thinking no longer belongs to them. The more a system demands obedience, the more it rewards repetition and punishes doubt. Eventually, people stop asking questions, not
These are all amazing points. This is an amazing video so far. I'm really liking this.
because they are forbidden to, but because it feels dangerous, uncomfortable, or unnecessary. Thinking becomes something you outsource. And once that happens, you no longer need evil intentions to create hell. You only need enough people who are willing to stop thinking.
Okay, so this was about where we will continue just a little bit further, but this is about where I decided that I wouldn't be able to finish this video. The reason for that is we now have 4 different categories to dissect, all stemming from a presupposed term of stupidity. Those 4 terms or 4 categories would be stupidity, obedience, blind obedience, and or brainwashing, and now we have cowardice. Why cowardice? Because what Mr. Noli described was not individuals who acted without thinking or acted out of loyalty to authority or acted due to groupthink. The refusal to defy authority out of moral obligation is cowardice. And I think I could phrase that a little bit better. But if you feel morally obligated to defy authority and you don't, that is cowardice. I do have to admit, I didn't anticipate Mr. Nolly's video to have strayed so far as the original thesis goes. But this is why we have to slow down and make sure the words we use are matching the ideas we wish to convey. I had watched Lord Intellectual's video completely and only had the vaguest idea that I disagreed with it, with the premise and with the conclusion. But it was only a vague idea. As of now, this breakdown has taken me several hours to listen and contemplate each point being made before having my responses ready and even a form of clarifying questions. I hope that this offers a little bit of insight for all of you. And I do want to play the video just a little bit further, just to cover basically the crux of where I had my initial concerns.
Once Bonhoeffer saw this pattern, history stopped looking mysterious. The question was no longer how humans could commit horrific acts, but how often they had done so while believing they were right. Violence rarely begins with cruelty. It begins with obedience, ignorance, and collective certainty. The Crusades did not last for centuries because everyone involved was evil, but because people accepted a single narrative and stopped questioning it.
So this was the point where I was a bit uncomfortable with the premise and with the conclusion. Because he says the Crusades as if the Crusades are some sort of monolith, as if they were all the same. Which crusade is he addressing? There were 8, and all of them varied in purpose and in outcome. And if we're talking about violence, then the 6th crusade doesn't even apply here because it was diplomatic and not military. So it doesn't fit his description. So I hope that my arguments and my thoughts remain humble, and I am very open to correction here. I do hope that this two-part series has helped some of you in understanding an argument and understanding how to set your terms for an argument and think through the ideas that you set forth. Even if Lord Intellectual doesn't see these videos and we do not have a dialogue, I hope that at least some of you have learned from these videos. And I will say, even though I am a little disappointed that I can't go further in the video myself as far as argumentation, it was quite fun for me to exercise my thoughts, my own thoughts, and organize them. And I hope to do a few more videos like this with Lord Intellectual or with some other good thinkers out there. Maybe not such a controversial topic. Anyway, if you liked the video, then please give me a thumbs up. Let me know that I'm doing a good job. And also leave comments on the video. Let me know if I have strayed anywhere, because it is quite possible that I am wrong in my thinking, or it's possible that all three of us, Mr. Nolly, Lord Intellectual, and myself, have some intellectual biases that we have not seen introspectively. So it will always be good to have an outside source to relay that to us. Okay, I'll stop rambling on, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.